Hey, what's going on? Shep here at Iron Anchor Cycles, and I wanted to do a quick video today about a project we're working on for a customer that hopefully will have some implications for some other folks out there. And what that is what's sitting right behind us. And well, this bike is a 2004 Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic. What we're going to talk about really applies to any Twin Cam 88 motorcycle. And that topic is the mechanical chain tensioners that exist in the cam chests for these bikes. If you've had any experience with a Twin Cam 88 or done any research at all, you'll know that this is a very, very common failure point on these bikes. The mechanical chain tensioners are essentially what you'd call a ticking time bomb, just waiting to grenade inside of a motor. Those pads that are on there with that mechanical chain tensioner eventually will fail. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And when they do, they'll send a ton of little pieces all throughout the motor and cause what we'd call catastrophic engine failure in most cases. So most of these bikes have probably had this conversion done already at this point. You know, your newest Twin Cam 88 bikes at this point are over 15 years old, so hopefully most of them have had it done. But if you've got a Twin Cam 88 bike with any kind of miles on it whatsoever and you haven't done this, I'd recommend it. And so we're not going to do a walkthrough of the install on this or anything like that. Most of the procedure is very similar to doing any other cam chest, and we've done videos on that before. I just wanted to show you some of the parts and let you understand exactly what's going on with the differences between mechanical and hydraulic chain tensioners. And we can talk a little bit about gear drives too at the same time maybe. So that said, let's go over and take a look at some of these parts and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So what we're looking at here are the original equipment components that came out of this bike. And what prompted us to get in here in the first place was this part right here, which is the primary chain tensioner, and then the tensioner on the back side of the plate, which is the secondary chain tensioner. Both of these are possible failure points, and we'll talk a little bit about why. The first thing I want to show you is really just how close this particular bike was to, we'll call it catastrophe. If you look at the front tensioner, it does have quite a bit of wear on it, but it looks solid, right? I mean, it's not it's not coming apart anytime soon. But if we flip over to the back, and you see the tremendously large groove that's been cut into this tensioner, and I'm hoping that the camera is focused on that so you can see it. On the one side, you see the thickness this used to be, and when you flip around to the other side, you can see that. I'm really hoping this is going to focus. There we go. The wear is essentially coming almost through that these side pieces are about to get cut free. This is very bad, obviously, because when this does let go, not only are you going to have these little pieces of plastic that are going to be traveling around in your motor and clogging up oil passages and marring things up, if it comes totally apart, you're then going to have this metal spring tensioner that's now sitting directly on the chain once the plastic is gone, and it's still going to be moving around, and that's going to make things a whole lot worse. So Harley obviously realized the error of their ways with this, and you haven't seen these in a bike since the Twin Cam 88. They were updated to hydraulic chain tensioners with the Twin Cam 96, and that's the way Harleys are to this day, up to and including 2021 Milwaukee 8s. So why are these such a problem? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, because it's a mechanical tensioning device, these tensioners are putting tension on the chain, full tension that it would be required for high RPMs all the time. Whether the bike is off or running or at cruising speed or under load, that tension is always on there. With a hydraulic tensioner, that the tension is provided, it's hydraulic pressure that comes from oil passageways in the cam plate. Obviously the pressure increases as the RPMs go up and the oil pressure increases. So what you have is a variable pressure, and you're not going to get nearly as much wear on the pads. The other piece of it is that the style of the chain changed. So this is an original chain. This is the inside chain, as it were, but the outside primary chain is going to look the same. And you may recognize a newer one would have what you call a bicycle style chain on it with kind of regular links, whereas this one is much more solid. And While these chains can be ground down and polished and smoothed over, and it will significantly reduce the amount of wear you get on these pads, what you wind up with these from the factory is they get sharp edges on them. And as that, goes around and around under full tension on these pads, it causes premature wear. So eliminating this style of chain on the front side and then moving on the rear, if you're going with an OE replacement cam or your original cams, you're still going to use a chain that looks like this, but you can clean it up and have a better tensioner on there. So a couple of other things to point out here. If you've ever worked on a cam chest or you've ever seen any of our videos or anyone else's, there are obviously some special tools required to do your cams, most notably over on the bike itself. That would be pulling and pressing in the new needle bearings that sit inside the case that the inside portion of the cams sit in. On the cam plate itself, on the newer models, there is no bearing, and the cams ride directly inside the cam plate. So, if you look at this one, your pinion shaft would sit here, and you've got this brass bushing. That's more like what you'd see on an original cam plate from a newer style bike. However, these older ones, the cams don't ride directly in here. They actually ride in bearings that need to be pressed out of your cam plate and onto the cams. So what that means is essentially you're going to need some more specialty tools and also a shop press in order to do this changeover properly. So not only do you have to, and I'm just going to hold these up, these bearings are a little different. Your front and your rear bearings are not the same in this case. So you've got a ball bearing style for your front cam, and you've got a roller style for the rear cam, and the front one is one piece, and then that rear one, you've got the inner race is separate from the bearing assembly itself. They function the same way, it's just the install and removal is a little different front and rear. But needless to say, both of these outer races go into this cam plate in this way, and those obviously when you're taking it apart need to be pressed out, and when they go back in, they need to be pressed back in. And then also, it's an interference fit with the inner race on the ends of the camshaft itself. So those need to be pressed off the bearings and pressed back on as well. And particularly with the rear, you're going to need yet another tool, which would be what you'd call a bearing separator, because you've got this race sitting on top of this spacer, and this needs to be pulled off of the cam. So like I said, it's not complicated, it's not difficult to do. Just make sure that if you're going to try and undertake this yourself, that you've got the right tools for the job. So what we're doing here for this particular customer, just to kind of complete the story here, is we undertook this job for him entirely because he wanted to get rid of these mechanical chain tensioners. So we went ahead and got a kit from Feuling that included a updated cam plate that has the hydraulic tensioners that also comes with one of their OE Plus high flow oil pumps. So from that point, you have a decision. You can update your cams and buy new ones and get some more power out of your motor and go that route. And you don't have to worry about any of this stuff on the way back in. Just use newer cams with a newer style cam plate and it'll all retrofit into the bike. Or in the case of our customer, who's very happy with the way his bike ran, didn't want to get new cams, wasn't necessarily looking for more power. So what we wound up with for him was this cam plate from Feuling. And we've actually already gone ahead and assembled most of this, so you'll see that. So that's their OE Plus cam plate, part number is 8032. Our original cams are installed there. And then over on the back side, we've got our oil pump temporarily installed here, just loosely. And then as you can see, you've got your original camshafts, the new chain tensioner that's hydraulic, along with, again, this is more like the old style chain, but it's been smoothed over, and also without that constant pressure from the mechanical tensioner, it's much, much, much less of an issue than it would be. So from the front, you can see that you've got those bearings in there, and these are new bearings from Feuling. You've got for the front cam, those ball bearing style rollers in there, and then you've got the roller cam itself for the rear. So this is gonna bolt right in, and what we're gonna wind up getting is a much more safe, much more bulletproof oiling system, as well as hydraulic chain tensioners. So that's basically the bottom line, and hopefully that was informative and helpful. And if you're interested in getting anything like this done, just let us know. All right, so that's going to do it. Just a quick video, like I said, on some of the details regarding mechanical chain tensioners and hydraulic chain tensioners. I did mention that we might talk a little bit about gear drive cams, and really, I just want to make a point that this is obviously an opportunity where, in order to eliminate those mechanical chain tensioners, you could skip the hydraulic chain tensioners and go right to a gear drive cam setup. That may be applicable for some folks, but the biggest concern with gear drives obviously has to do with the runout on your crankshaft and the pinion shaft specifically in this case. In this particular bike, we checked our runout and it is at 0.003, which is actually very, very good for a bike of this age and this amount of miles. However, it's really not good enough for a gear drive. Gear drive cams, you know, the outer limit they say is 0.003. I would say that it has to be under 0.003 in order to use gear drives. The other thing is, brand new and updated hydraulic chain tensioners and chain driven cams are perfectly fine. There's really no need to go to a gear drive cam in a stock motor setup like this. You know, it makes a little bit more noise, it makes a little bit more heat, and if you're really not gaining anything, which you're really not in this particular type of setup, there's really no reason to do something like that. So updated and premium parts when you're talking about hydraulic chain tensioner setups are more than fine, and also required if your pinion shaft runout is 0.003 or more. So that's kind of it on that, just a little bit of a side note. The other thing worth pointing out, just a little bit about kind of what the overall job looks like for this. Your kit from Feuling is going to come with top end gaskets. That's for your rocker boxes as well as for the breather assemblies that we've got down here. So this is a situation where you can kind of go the other way and leave the top end together, cut your push rods out, and install adjustable push rods that you'd be able to slip back in with the rockers still on. In our case, just because it's pretty easy to get the rocker boxes off and just pull the push rods out, we opted to do it that way because we had the gaskets and we had all the parts to do it that way. And our customer wasn't really looking for adjustable push rods and spend the extra money on those parts. So what you see here is, you know, pretty much what you'd have to do. Take your top ends, your rockers off, get your push rods out, disassemble your cam chest. Obviously we moved, you know, one of the exhaust pipes out of the way, little basic things like that. Pull everything out. We're holding our lifters up with some magnets here because we're not changing those out and leaving that stuff in place. So really everything else is just gonna bolt back in and then we'll be good to go. And because we didn't change the cams, all of the engine geometry is gonna stay the same, so no need for any type of tuning or anything like that. We're really just replacing some of those core components to make the oiling system a whole lot better. So that's gonna do it for Iron Anchor Cycles today. We'll see you next time.